What began as an experiment to bring my 11-year-old daughter into my business has evolved into Our Young Creators, a podcast, a training center, and a movement dedicated to equipping kids with real-world marketable skills so that they can fund their own brighter futures. We're here to inspire you to turn consumption time on devices into creation time and use technology as a tool to bond and not bicker with your kids. Join us each week as we share the inner workings of our partnership and bring you stories from guests of all ages and from all walks of life on our quest to nurture and to celebrate our young creators. Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining me live or watching this replay all about celebrating your weird and in turn celebrating what makes your kids weird. Before we jump right in though, I do want to take a few moments to introduce myself if we haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet. My name is Young Pratt, and I'm a 17-year performing arts studio owner turned chief dreamer, podcaster, and author right here at Our Young Creators. I'm also the mom of 2 beautiful daughters, and they were really the inspiration behind Our Young Creators. I wanted to give them tools that they could use to serve others, create a future of their dreams, and to fund those future adventures in the process. I am so glad you tuned in today, and we're really continuing the topic of raising creators right here on our Facebook page. Yesterday, we chatted a little bit about how do we raise creators in this digital age? If you haven't already watched that video, I will post the link right below this one once we wrap up so you can tune into that and share your thoughts. Now today, we're talking about what makes us weird. And I want to start by telling you a story. As you are tuning in live or catching the replay, let me know you are here and say hi. Growing up in a small rural town and being of Asian descent was something that I did not enjoy growing up. As kids, we strive to fit in and be like everyone else, and in the Asian culture, it's very much a commonplace thing to compare kids to someone else's kids in the hopes of inspiring our own kids to do better. However, in my case, I think it backfired. It didn't work. What it did by comparing me to others was make me always think that who I was, what I liked to do, the way I looked, the way I saw the world weren't good enough because they didn't match what the kid down the street was doing or the kid across the country who my parents knew, in particular my mother. She would always compare me saying, so-and-so did this. How come you can't do this? And it just made me feel lesser than. And from a very young age, I made a very conscious choice and decided that when I had kids, I wanted to make sure that I celebrated those things that made them different because I now know that what makes us different is what connects us to one another. It helps us to find our next mentor, our next online friend, our next collaborator, if it were. There's lots of reasons to be different, and now I'm starting to embrace that as I'm bringing my daughters into my business and showing them that being unique is being different is the best way to be. Wanting to be like everyone else, to fit in, to look like them, to wear what they're wearing, even if you don't like it because you think you're supposed to, are not the ways that they're going to feel comfortable in their own skin. And now with the advent of social media and having access to lots and lots of images that represent who a teenager is supposed to look like, what they're supposed to wear, what size they are, there's definitely more challenges, I think, for us parents these days than there were when I was little. Back then, it was all in reference to our circle of friendships and family. Now it's our circle into the world. There's a lot of influences now that come into our lives and into our kids' lives that are starting to influence them on who they think they want to become. And yesterday we talked about how to raise a creator and this whole notion that we believe in here about turning consumption time on devices into creation time. And it's a really exciting time as far as technology goes, especially things like voice-activated devices. There is so much potential for our kids to step into themselves in a bigger way by serving others and doing the things that they love. As parents, we definitely want the best for our kids, but sometimes, myself included, we get into that comparison trap about, oh, my kid doesn't do this as well as somebody else, or this person did this and, my kid doesn't do that or doesn't like it. And it can really be a trap that we fall into about comparing everything in our lives, our kids' achievements, successes, and everything that makes them who they are. Definitely an easy trap to fall into. My challenge for you today is to be observant with your kids. Take just a few moments after school, after you've had your greeting, let them go about what they're doing, and I want you to look for something in particular. I want you to look for ways that your kids are special. Are they easy to laugh? Are they kind to their pets or their siblings? Do they love to read? And you can celebrate that. I want you today to take just a few minutes, 5 or 10. I know you're so busy in your lives, and I want you just to reflect on that through observation and going through your memory bank and remembering things that your kids like. What are they excited about these days? What happened in school today that got them excited? And how can we then turn that passion, that unique quality into something that we can celebrate? Now, my kids think I'm sometimes weird because they'll do something, especially if they make a mistake, and I will cheer them on and applaud them for having the courage to try things. One of my favorite movies is Meet the Robinsons. And in that movie, there is a scene where the main character meets his family. And the grandpa and the family create something and it doesn't work. And all of a sudden, there's this huge celebration. And he's wondering why they're celebrating because he views it as a failure. What they tell him, though, is that by failing, by doing something that nobody else is doing, by doing things in our own way, we will discover our own path, and those things, everything that makes us unique, those things that make us weird, are not weird, in fact, after all. They make us who we are, and who we are needs to be celebrated? In the comments below, I would love you to let me know what you are going to celebrate with your kids today. What weird attributes are you going to celebrate for your kids and acknowledge them for that? And conversely, what are you going to celebrate about you today as a parent, as a business owner, as anyone who's living in the world? You have a unique gift. You have a unique voice. And you have lots of things that make you weird, but that weird is wildly beautiful. And I want you to embrace it in yourself. I want you to embrace it in your kids, and then come back and share what you celebrated today. I so look forward into supporting you and cheering your weirdness on too, because, my friends, being weird is what makes us connect to one another in a real way, and I look forward to celebrating with you. I will see you again tomorrow at 1:01 p.m. Until then, have an amazing, amazing day celebrating your weird. Cheers. Now, if you're looking to really celebrate your weird and your kids' weird, I invite you to be a guest on our podcast. Head over to ouryoungcreators.com/podcast, and all you have to do is click on the Be Our Guest link, and who knows, your story is the next one we could feature right here on the podcast. Cheers, my friends.